Hello, my name is Osahoni Lobo. I'll be your trainer for this lab, and we are looking at application load balancer path based routing. So the overview is, in this lab you will learn how to create a path based routing with load balancer, but this time it's an application load balancer. So this is the architecture. So on the architecture, we'll simply say we have instances, target groups. We have two set of target group in each of the AZ availability zone. We have our load balancer. So three resources as well. We have the instances, two instances, one, so that's three altogether, and we have our target group, two separate target group, and the elastic load balancer. So I'll be going to my AWS console. So on the AWS console, I'm going to create instances, three altogether, two on one single availability zone and the third. So go to our EC2, click on instance, and then we are going to launch. I'll put the name here. I'm going to use Linux 1 A. We are using the Red Hat as our AMI, the operating system. We are still using the instance type as T2 micro. I'm going to select an existing, or you can create one, which is pretty much very simple. I'll come to my network. I'll be selecting a customize, or you can use the default. So we are looking at a private network. So I'm going to select, remember on this architectural diagram, two instances were created on the same AZ, which is availability zone. So we are going to create two instances out of the subnet. So I have to go down, because it's public, the public IP must be enabled. So I'll select my security group existing, or you can create a new security group, which is very much easy. So I'm going to select, go down and see Linux public, and I'll go straight down to my advanced, click on my advanced. I'm going to paste the scripting. So this is the script. I'm going to use this one as A1. At this point in time, I can click on 2 here just to select 2 to create two instances, but I'm going to create them independently. So I'll click on launch. Go to instance, refresh, just quickly select, come down to action, to image and templates, create one like this. So I'm creating mirror. Quickly, I'm going to make this one, change the tag name to 2A, the same availability zone. The information is the same, it's more like a template. I just replicate the order. So I'm going to select the key again that we used in the previous. Everything remains the same. Go down to the advanced details. the script is the same, but I'm going to use 2A instead of 1A. For the purpose of the test, I'll click on launch. So we have successfully created 2 instances. Now I'll be creating the third instance. So the third instance, I can do the same thing as well. Click on action, image and templates, launch more like this. It's still the same, but this will be a bit different because I'm creating in a different AZ. So the instant AMI is the same, the instant type is the same, selecting the key, the same key. Now carefully look, I'm changing from A to C, a different availability zone. So quickly, all the information remains the same, but take a careful look. This is private, what we need is public. So if I'm changing the availability zone, I should be looking at if it's a public or a private. So I'm going to private, I'm going to public, so everything must be public. Now the IP, public IP is enabled. I have to move straight down to the advanced details, straight down. I'll be changing the scripting as well. I'll click on launch. So we have successfully created the 3 instances. So the next thing we have to do is to refresh. These are 3 instances. We are still waiting for the health check, status check, and after the status check is showing 2 of 2, this may take 5 minutes. We'll have to set a target group. So now we have our status as 2 of 2 passed. I'm going to create a target group. Click on target group. So we are going to create 2 separate target groups. The first is this. I'll put a target group 1 as the name. You can give it a name of your choice. I'll be selecting the VPC I used. Come to the head check. I'm going to put it as 2 of 2, 2 head threshold 2, unhealthy threshold 2. That's perfectly fine. I come straight and click on next. So in the first target group, I'm going to target the first 2 instances on the same availability zone. I'll come down, I'll click on include as pending below. So we have 2. Click on create target group. This has been successfully created. I'll be creating another target group, which will be for the other instance in the other AZ. So target group 2. I select the VPC I used, come to advanced, it will be 2 to 2 healthy, 2 unhealthy, and I'll click on next. Now I'll be selecting the other instance, add, so include as pending below, and then I create. Successfully I've created the 2 target group. The next thing, I'm going to create a load balancer. So click on create load balancer. Now at this point we are going to select our application load balancer, click on create. I'll give it a name. Let me give it as operation. You can give it a name of your choice. It's internet facing. I'll be selecting the network, which is the VPC I used. So I'll be selecting the availability zone here, the first availability zone and the second. So we'll change it to public. So we'll move straight down. We'll take away the default security and put the security group which we used, which was this. So we move straight down the target group. So we are going to select our first target group and move straight down. And click on create load balancer. So we'll be waiting for the update. Creating the load balancer, the status is showing us provisioning. So we give it 5 minutes to have a full status update. So at this point, we are going to work on the pathway. So go straight down, come to the row. So we are going to work on the row. Click on the existing one row. Now we are going to add an additional row. So here we can give the row name as pathway. I'll click on next. So I'll click on add condition. So I'm going to click it as include it as paths. On this condition now, I'm going to put in my path. So this path is actually give the direction, and I click on confirm. I click on next. Forward to target group, so I'll leave it as default. Forward to which target group? We are looking at the second target group. And I'll click on next. Priority number, please. I'll put 1 priority number. And finally, I'll click on next. So everything has been stated completely. All I need to do is to click on create. At this point, we have successfully created our pathway. We are going to run a test to see what we have done, if everything is properly connected. We'll click on our load balancer, click on the load balancer we created, go straight down. We are going to copy under details our DNS. We copy our DNS, we open a new browser, we run a test, paste it here, So by default, we have the IP of one of the server created in the first availability zone. When you click on refresh, you see it is changing between IP address, public IP address, and you can see the same availability zone, but we are testing the load balancer, okay, within the availability zone. So now to confirm the pathway, so I'll click on, I'll add an extra, which is the target path. When I click on enter, it forwards me directly to the AWS profile. So you can say AWS, which is on the second target group. So we have been able to create a load balancer on 2 instances and also a pathway for the 3rd instance in this experiment. The process is pretty much clear, straightforward. You create the instances, you create the target group, and you create your load balance. After the load balance have been created, you change the row, you add an additional row, which will forward your resource finally on the pathway. Thank you so much, and join me in the next session.